Welcome back, everybody. We are here with our December Star Wars CCG graded group update, among all other things Star Wars CCG. I am here with JP and Luke. Welcome both to you. We are going to touch upon a few things. We're going to touch upon the contest from November and December. We're going to get some group updates with JP, and then we're going to look at some sales with Luke. So let's just kick off with our contest for November. It was Cloud City theme for anybody who forgot about it. There were only 4 submissions, including myself, which is kind of sad. Maybe there's not many graded cards in Cloud City out there. I seem to doubt that. Maybe everyone forgot about it, but it seems like it's been pretty slow. Yeah, I think Luke's unique cards of the HGA graded, upside down inverted cards. Those were pretty cool. I don't even think I realized you had those. I know they were listed for sale. Maybe they've been passed around, or maybe
they've been passed around. I got them from Cam. I actually, it's funny, guys. Like, I don't have any graded cards aside from what I've been just kind of given for doing the spreadsheet work. And so that was one of like the care packages from Cam of like,
Very
hey,
cool.
Here's some cool graded cards. And I was like, this is perfect. I'm using this for the Cloud City contest.
It's perfect. What do you think of, actually, now that I have your attention, sorry to sidetrack, but now that you have those slabs in your hand, what do you think of those HGA slabs?
What are your impressions? It's funny how different the labels are, like just way, way different. Yeah, I mean, they're cool to look at. I would say they're kind of like fun to kind of pass around and sort of like throw upside down and look around in the mirror, like that sort of thing. Yeah, they're just kind of awesome to have on my mantelpiece, or like on my bookshelf, that I can kind of look at them with any of the other graded cards I have. I only have like 7 or 8 at this point. So
yeah, I mean, I guess that's great that you like them. I was thinking of, between having like lots of different companies slabs, like I probably have 5 or 6 different company slabs. I know there's plenty more, but I'm looking at like the thickness, like are they rounded edges, sharp edges?
Yeah.
How do they stack? How does the card sit? Do they sleeve it? Do they not sleeve it? There's some like nuances to how the different companies slab them and grade them, and everybody has kind of a preference or story to that. So
yeah, you guys are much more familiar with that than I am. I like basically have just a few, and I haven't looked that closely, I'd have to say.
Yeah, well, that was an awesome submission. I don't know if there's necessarily, I guess we'll just kind of tie for the other 2, but they were both Boba Fett submissions. I think they were great. You had a Boba Fett enhanced and a regular Boba Fett. Then you had Boba Fett from Cloud City and the Bounty, both 10s and 9s respectively. To that, nobody in the low ball category. I don't know if nobody has low ball stuff in their inventory. I think you do. Maybe you're ashamed of it. That's fine. That category is to celebrate that, not shame.
And also, Kyle, you pointed out before, like low ball doesn't actually have to be anything. Like it'd be like 8s. Like
if somebody had submitted 2 8s or even a 9 and 8 for a low ball, they would have won.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. If you have your 7s, plenty of 7s and 8s out there.
Oh yeah.
Won. But this month I have high hopes. As our backgrounds indicate, it is Hoth and all things walkers, speeders, and snow theme. So I'm very excited to see what people post for this month. Hopefully we get a little bit more engagement. JP, any thoughts on that?
No, I agree. Hoth is very popular. It was also kind of seeing, who's really sending off what. So I wasn't sure how Cloud City was going to go. So it was a good test. And, you've got to have a slow month somewhere. One of them has to be it. So November happened to be it. But I think we're going to end the year with a bang. And I think Hoth is going to be a lot of fun. So get your submissions in.
Speaking of Hoth, let me just go grab my latest uncut sheet. I'll show you guys.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
it's been a fun adventure to follow Luke and his collection, and it's been great.
So there is somebody in the group who I found out not long ago wants to potentially grade an entire Hoth Japanese set. So Hoth Japanese is not completely dead, although I think a lot of people did finish what they were looking for, so it has slowed down for non-graded Hoth Japanese. That is a cool looking sheet there.
Yeah, this is the rare sheet of Dark Sides, which it's kind of fun to see the blank cards here. But yeah, Hoth is our December theme, so thought it'd be fun to show you the Hoth uncut sheet there.
I like that Leia card, that red card with Leia like contemplating.
Yes, the high anxiety. This one right here.
Yep.
That's a good. If anyone has a Hoth light side uncut sheet, please get in touch with me.
The Wampa is a cool card too.
Yep. There's a lot of really cool looking cards there for sure.
Yeah, there's some badass cards, and including the Star Destroyers too, of course. So okay, moving on. Participate in the Hoth contest for December. Group updates. JP, tell us all things that have been going on with the graded group.
Yeah, so just keeping my ear to the ground, watching the different posts. We've had a high engagement of posts this month. It was 54 different posts, which is pretty high. And I've seen a lot of people wanting to sell and do auctions and just make general announcements. I know we're going to be having an update from Luke here about how the month looked. But we're down 80% on membership requests, which is kind of weird. It's the first month we're really down. We just were having a discussion prior to going live, and what does it compare to years past? And really, we're a very young group. We're only like 2 or 3, maybe 3 years old, and we used to celebrate like 5, 6, 10 members joining in a month, but we were growing from like 170 to 182 or something like that. Now we're nearly at 700, and this was the year for growth. So looking at the chart, it was really weird to see kind of only a couple people joining for the month. But I guess in general, we're just keep in mind that November is going to be a slow month for a few different things, lots of holidays and starting the end of the year. So we'll keep striving to find interesting things to stay engaged with and make sure we're all still providing each other with good customer care and helping each other get those cards graded. And, I checked yesterday on the PSA registry stuff and nothing new yet. And I know I've said it before, but I'm going to reach out to that manager and at PSA and see where they're at, or if we can start getting some other sets going, because we've got plenty of serial numbers to provide for different sets. So, and then get ready for results from the poll. We put a poll out to see what you guys want to have as competition. So we're going to probably mull over that this month and have a little lengthy discussion and start having some different categories and some different themes. So be looking for that.
Yeah, the point is we want to see your stuff. We want you to have that platform to share it and show it off. Yeah, and it does make me think, on a side note, I guess you could go down a rabbit hole with it, but, it's no secret that some people have their gripes with Facebook in general, right? And there's so many other platforms now demanding attention, right? There's Discord and YouTube and TikTok and now there's Threads and there's other channels that maybe some people just don't use Facebook per se, but I think it's safe to say that anybody who is interested in those collectibles are probably on the eBay market. But I think we probably have at least 80, 85%, of people that are collecting Star Wars CCG graded groups or graded cards are involved in the Facebook group, right? There's some other dealers. I feel like I've been seeing dealers trying to put out Star Wars CCG graded product and other stuff out at trade shows. I'm thinking of people like Andy Roberts. I think that's great to see. I think that's great to get out. I don't know how successful that is, but from an awareness piece, it's certainly fantastic. Again, still young, but I'm keeping an eye out for the next, non-sports card shows that are in my area, Philly, Delaware, New Jersey, and I want to attend to those and bring those with me like I did last time, and at least get them out there, share it with people, show it off, get people like, oh, I've never seen that. I've been in my top Star Wars groups. People collect, you find more people that collect specific things. There's a guy from Max Rebo, and of course we know Size Snoodles, right? R5D4, like Watto. Personally, Watto would probably be mine. I haven't really gone off the deep end with that, but there's like a guy for like the most random specific stuff, and I actually had sold that HGA custom like R5D4 picture to somebody who's never seen that car before, but he loves R5D4 and was like, "Oh, that's really cool." I was like, "Yeah, you might like this," you know. So it's like there's like other avenues that might draw people in. So I'm kind of feeling that out a little bit. I've been throwing extra Star Wars CCG cards in with my sales for non-Star Wars CCG card trade, so people can get some exposure to that. Bulk boxes it's a good way to move like bulk cards that like are just going to sit around or not go anywhere. Mixing it with other Star Wars cards that I have has been pretty popular. Those have been selling, so certainly helps spark the discussion. Let's move on to Luke. Let's talk all things sales November, and you can go through sealed as well. That's fine. Trends, forecasts, speculations. What's going on?
Yeah, sure. Let me just let me show you my screen. Can you confirm that you can see the tracker, guys?
Let's move this to the stage. Yes.
Yep. Great. Okay, so I'm going to show you the November top sales. Actually, I haven't even posted this in the graded group yet. I'll do that later today. But a couple of top sales are actually surge private sales they reached out to me about. So Grand Moff Tarkin, Japanese, PSA 10, 1500. Then Chewbacca, Japanese, PSA 10. These are both one of ones at the moment in the registry for PSA. That was 800. The overall number on column I here was 7,884 in sales. That is way, way down. I'm going to go over to October and just show you that October was 18,000. So that'll be reflected in sealed. I don't need to go through sealed, I guess, for this conversation, but basically like it is less than half. There were in total 99 different sales across the things we've been tracking, which again was also down from October. The thing to realize here, obviously, was Thanksgiving, and some of the sellers that I talked to said they learned their lesson from previous years where they didn't want to have auctions ending on the Thanksgiving weekend. Also, November had 4 Sundays. And Sunday is usually the day that most auctions end, at least for the great stuff I've been tracking.
Right.
And October had 5 Sundays. So not only did October have more opportunities to sell, but November was also handicapped by it being a holiday period as well. So I don't know if that is also reflected on why JP saw a little bit less in terms of membership requests too. But in any case, that was our overview for November graded sales, 7,884.
I want to say, I think last year, maybe Beef Red did a bunch of auctions for sealed product, and they all went really low amounts because nobody was paying attention.
I did.
That was a big mistake.
I did see a couple things in sealed. No, actually, excuse me. I saw a Han Solo Reflections foil graded. I think it was PSA 8, which would typically go in the past for 20, 30. It went way below that, and it ended on Thanksgiving Day. And I even made a note on that. This is just gonna see way less people. There's two. I think there was another item that I was tracking that also ended on Thanksgiving. It was just oh guys, don't have your stuff end on Thanksgiving itself. People are just not going to be able to pay attention to that. So it went for less than it would typically sell for sure. Yeah,
that's a good point for those who are selling and they have really weird end times or days.
The vast majority are Sunday evening for sure. So one of my Sunday night, I live on the West Coast, and so after my girls are in bed, I kind of go through and see all the auctions have ended, and there's usually a fair amount, maybe 10 to 20 each week sometimes. And then throughout the week, I would say there's usually maybe 1 to 4 every day. It's very, very rare to have more than 10 on a non-Sunday.
Yeah, I've definitely. So there's 2 things. One, it's really annoying for being on the East Coast when something I really want ends at 11:30 at night, on a weeknight, because I'm I'm like, either I stay up and wait for it, or I put in a last bid, go to bed, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose that.
Yeah.
You know, like, or some of the stuff I've won has been like a Wednesday morning, like at 11 a.m. Like, I don't know what they were thinking, but like, thanks. Like, you could win some good deals that way. I think most people are pretty savvy to that, but I've definitely gotten some wins and loss. Unfortunately, stuff I probably would have spent more money on. Another thing too, there were a bunch of sealed boxes that recently sold. Correct? Didn't you called out in like one day or something?
Yeah. I
Sold?
mean, do you want me to share that data as well, the sealed data?
I thought that was interesting.
Great.
I was actually bidding on a bunch of Dagobah boxes, which I didn't win, which I'm kind of sad about. But
so let me go back to sealed sales. I don't know if you want to put this on the screen again, if it's not already there.
Oh.
So
I think sealed is relevant because I think some people are collecting sealed to throw in a closet, but other people are probably thinking, I can buy a sealed box and rip it and then grade the good stuff I want out of it. So yeah. I do think some of the sealed stuff is relevant, particularly with like Cloud City, Premier Limited. I mean, stuff that's probably still pretty plentiful. So people have less qualms about ripping it, you know, like Reflections 1 through 3, like that's kind of a big deal if you're going to rip that.
Yeah.
You know,
so,
yeah, go ahead.
So you can see on the sealed tracker that by far and away the main sale of the month, there was a Reflections 3 box that went on eBay for $3,550. Nothing even close to that. There was a Sunday, I think it was the 19th, where we had, I think it was 12 boxes be sold, which was the all-time record for the year. I mean, again, I've only been tracking this for a few months, but like I kind of find it hard to imagine there was any more in the previous history. I did find it interesting. The Sunday after May the 4th was the previous record. So like I think a lot of sellers thought, okay, a lot of people are paying attention to Star Wars Day. They're going to go see this Star Wars CCG box, and then they'll like bid on it for the Sunday. I guess your ultimate like confluence of factors would be in the future when May the 4th is on a Sunday, and then you might have like a bunch of people put out stuff. So in any case, a lot of Hoth, a lot of a few Dagobah, as you pointed out, lots of Premier, and then Jabba's Palace. I would say like, and then the bottom right, I mean the smaller boxes, the 2-player game stuff, but Premier, Jabba's Palace, and yeah, like it looks like Hoth, there was a fair amount of this month, with the main selling point being Reflections 3. I will say it's like pretty rare to see like Death Star 2, Endor, Coruscant Theed, Tatooine, even like those just aren't usually up for sale. The first few sets are much more prevalent, as I think we all know. But again, that Reflections 3 high point for sure was interesting to see.
It's good stuff. Speculation for December. Are people going to spend money on everyone else, or are they going to get what they want for Christmas?
Yeah, big question. I don't know.
How did December last year do? Can you see how December was last year? Sorry,
I can probably break that out. I haven't. I feel like it's hard to do month by month when I was on top of the stuff that was.
We can chat about it when we recap for December.
Yeah. Let's chat that when we recap for December. Yeah.
Awesome. Any final thoughts, JP, for November? Looking forward to December.
Well, I'm feeling optimistic that memberships will definitely be up in December. I'm working, looking for opportunities, of course, to get into other groups and get other people interested. I wanted to kind of end my side with I still see people that they bring their graded stuff into other Star Wars groups, and they drop the price out, and all the people in those groups just can't believe it. And they're like, no way are you going to sell that for $1,200? And it gives me the greatest opportunity to say, hey, we're practically printing money over here in the graded group. So I can go ahead and advertise. And that's kind of when the people come over, they see the prices that people are, getting for their graded product. and they just come over to take a look, and they're like, I'll join this and see, you know, if I've got some stuff I want to grade. So that's kind of been the slow grind, but you know, I'm looking forward to a good December and getting ready to kick off the new year. I think it's going to be great.
Are you eyeing any card conventions or card shows near you? I feel like a lot of them end up in the Midwest.
That they do. I actually, I just got like a couple days ago. If you're a member of PSA, you get their like magazine, and I know it's always heavy sports oriented, but I
they always are. I'm waiting for the day when I see Star Wars CCG on the front of these.
Yeah. Well, did you see that little tear out, that part in the middle? If you haven't pulled it out yet, it's just got like some rubber glue, and it's showing Lorcana now, and it's got a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon.
I have seen that. Yeah.
So they're starting to pick up a little bit with some of the non-sports stuff, and so man, I'm thinking, how can I talk to like one of those pages in there? They're starting to show the Lorcana stuff. And I'm thinking, well, I said, I know Star Wars CCG has to be getting bigger than Lorcana. For Pete's sakes, how many Lorcana cards are out there compared to, you know, Star Wars CCG? And I know Disney's big, but hey, Star Wars is part of Disney too. So I'd want to kind of talk to somebody there and say, hey, you know, can we have some kind of a page or something? I mean, I doubt they give us. I mean, a page is probably $500,000 to advertise in that magazine, but you know, when you look at kind of how many have been graded, there's a huge amount now compared to the last year or two. So the shows that are in our area, I think there was a couple that are coming to the Midwest, and there's like 3 or 4 small ones I want to do. They're usually sports card heavy, but the last one I went to that was sports card, I even saw like the Star Wars cards, not that they were graded, but they had Star Wars cards and Pokemon cards and Magic and all that. So I used to do vendor booths and dealer booths at the other shows that were nearby. So I'm going to start looking into that and see if I can go to some of the smaller ones that are affordable and just spread the junk out. And I'll just hit them heavy with the whole collection and just blow their minds.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. From a speculation standpoint, I mean, I feel like we would be a good candidate to be like, hey, have you guys seen these, you know, cards before? They're selling or more. The Lorcana stuff, like, is definitely a hyped up game, but it's no secret that they're planning on, like, you know, mass produced dumping cards out more and more and more. So it's like, in the way like modern Pokemon cards are, like, they're printing just so many that it's like, sure, you could have an entire graded 10 set of like whatever latest Pokemon thing. It doesn't mean it's worth anything, you know, because it's really easy to get. I can go down the street, pick up new packs now, and like, it's not rare. It's still printed, right? Whereas I'm seeing these, they're always sharing about the latest baseball card or basketball card that's like, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. And those are like getting the articles, the front and center, and the collectors. So I am waiting the day when we see some of those. But maybe we need to be submitting an article to them, you know. Maybe they need something to grab onto. So, food for thought.
Yeah, maybe they'll be sure. That's a great idea. Maybe I'll just write and do some kind of an article with pictures and stuff and kind of explain kind of, you know, what the industry looks like. I mean, we've got our numbers. Luke's been on top of it. Cam's been on top of it all these years. So maybe we need to show them the trends and really, you know, get some really beautiful pictures of some of the cards and have a professional article put to them and see if they want to run an article in the next few months. I'll start working on that.
Can't hurt. That'd be pretty cool. Luke, any final thoughts for?
Yeah, I think as we look ahead to December, I'd be curious the next couple of weeks if there's product and graded sales that happen that people are holding back from for Thanksgiving, and that like maybe with the incentive of let's get this sold before Christmas and people are wanting to maybe buy for themselves for Christmas. I look and see the calendar, and there are 5 Sundays in December. However, the last 2 are Christmas Eve and New Year's. So like a pretty tough back-to-back there. I wouldn't be surprised if this is sort of a good first part of the month in terms of sales, sealed and graded, and then just falls off a cliff at the end as people are with families, doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll be, kind of curious to track that. The last thing I would say is that my paternity leave ends today. This is my last day.
Oh, no.
Home. So in the future, you might see less of me on these videos, unless they're in the evenings. I think there's some talk about some evening videos in the future, but it's definitely been fun. And I'll be continuing to work on the tracker stuff behind the scenes when I have time in the evenings.
Yeah, we're JP and I just kind of work weird schedules, I guess.
Yeah.
Just happen to make it work. But no, that's exciting. I'm glad you had a good paternity leave.
Yeah, for sure.
Get to work, Luke. God,
I will.
do something.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited to be back.
But yeah, for all those, I hope everybody has a good Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Dali, whatever you respectfully celebrate or don't celebrate. But yeah, at least for me, I know I don't have, I feel like every time at this part of the year, I'm always like, ooh, the credit card is getting stretched. I'm going through the saving. Like, I got a lot of things I got to buy and like things are breaking. And then by the time like somewhere in late January, February, I'm like, okay, ready to go again. Now that we're caught up,
Right.
So I get it. I'm sure a lot of other people are in that same boat too. And then you get tax returns, and then it's like a free for all, So, all right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.